Prime Minister David Cameron has been here in Jaffna for about an hour and 15 minutes. And the visit started with him going in to see the Chief Minister, Tamil. Whilst he was in there, there were two demonstrations outside. The first, very ordered and very similarly printed protest banners. Some of the slogans read, "Time to investigate British colonial atrocities." Then our attention was drawn to a rather bigger demonstration much further down the road, and that involved a large number of women holding photographs and letters depicting what had happened to their lost loved ones. There were many women in tears, hanging on to the journalists who were there, including myself, begging us to take letters and give them to David Cameron. In the end, there was an armful of letters pleading for some sort of action. But most of these young men, as they were when they surrendered to the military, have never been heard of. Indeed, all of them have never been heard of again. And it all happened probably 4 or 5 years ago at the end of the war. So the hope that they will ever be found in any form is not strong. Of course, it's always difficult when you're in a situation like this because, of course, there's always the danger that things have been orchestrated by one side or the other. But this, to me, felt very emotional and very heartfelt by the people that we saw. Then, as Mr. Cameron was leaving, the crowd, by now much larger, maybe up to 300, broke through the police cordon and besieged the vehicles that were leaving the Chief Minister's residence. But all passed off pretty peacefully. I'm not quite sure what will happen after that. And then we went on to a second port of call, which was the main Tamil newspaper, whose editors down the years have suffered pretty considerably under a degree of restriction by the authorities, where the Prime Minister was shown a number of burnt-out printing presses. They've been destroyed as recently as April amid gunfire and the spreading of petroleum by people speaking in broken Tamil voices. David Cameron himself appears to be pretty concerned by what he's seen, but I don't think he was particularly surprised by it. I think we anticipated there would be a protest like this, and indeed the Chief Minister, as I say, at Tamil, has given him a list of issues that have arisen since the end of the Civil War, and issues like disappearances, the white vans picking people up and them never being seen again, and continuing allegations of rape and sexual assaults. He's taken these issues away, and I have no doubt he will do what he was doing last night. He'll be calling the Human Rights Commissioner, Navi Pillay, from the United Nations and giving her a feed of what he's experienced. Well, of course, there's been a complete contrasting reaction to Channel 4 up here. Around Colombo, and indeed between Colombo and here, there is some considerable hostility towards Channel 4 for the films that we've made. But up here, amongst the Tamils, if they see your press badge and see that you're from Channel 4, they immediately run forward and grasp your hand and hug you and the rest of it. So there's a rather different reaction up here to that we're getting down south. I'm just passing right now another very highly ordered, very highly ordered demonstration. Don't obstruct peace and reconciliation is the order to Mr. Cameron here. Hold on to the driver, I'm saying. Let's get a picture of this. We'd like to live in peace, uniting as Tamils and Sri Lankans. Investigate colonial crimes. Investigations are needed into crimes during the colonial period. So these are people who definitely do not have much sympathy for the Tamil protests that we've seen, and who would much rather we talked about whatever the Brits got up to all those years ago when they were running this country, rather than investigate the allegations of war crimes of a much more recent nature.